Professor Sahel, if you can reintroduce Dr. Shifan to the audience, please. We can start. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hisham. Dear participants, I would like to introduce a colleague of mine from Dubai Medical College for Girls. She's an associate professor of anatomy. So we share a department and we share interests. She is actually our chair of the curriculum committee. So she is an active medical educator, and she is also the head of the e-learning unit, e-learning and innovation unit. So we share this passion as well. Dr. Shifan is an alumni of St. George's Medical College, London, and Kingston University, London. She has got a qualification of an MBBS, a diploma in family medicine. She's an MD, MBA, PhD, and Masters in Health Professions Education, and also an ongoing Masters in Artificial Intelligence. And so she's the right person to tell us about that. She's a member of the Association for Medical Education in Europe, AME, and the American Association of Clinical Anatomists in the USA. She is an associate member of the Royal College of General Practitioners in London. With strong scientific research, publications, and awards, Dr. Shifan is now a professor of anatomy at Dubai Medical College for Girls in UAE and a visiting professor at 2 medical universities in India. She has expertise in instructional design, learning innovations with world ranking of, she is number 116 as a desire to learn. Is a special design champion, leaderboard. Dr. Shifan is the director of the e-learning and innovation unit at Dubai Medical College for Girls. She is a firm believer in the statement, innovate and act or be obsolete. Please, Dr. Shifan.
Thank you, Prof. Almardi, for this nice introduction. It's been an honor to be guided by you. All these posts and positions that you mentioned, Prof. Mardi has been a role model, and Prof. Mardi is the guide. Okay, so as we share the common interest and with this enthusiasm, I'll start today's session, and I hope it will intrigue some interest in all of you also. So my talk title is about role of AI in medical education. So let's go ahead and see what's in store for us. So I would like to start with this nice enemy. I found out that while humans are hooked, machines are learning. But let's not forget that man is the prime driver of this information, and machines are learning though, but the instructions are coming from the man only. So let me describe and define AI, because many of us maybe are beginners, and with the sudden rise of AI popularity, maybe we think it's a new concept. But let's see, what is AI and what are we going to do with the AI backed up resources? So, as healthcare and medical education is concerned, AI has a definitive role in the transformation and defining the way we diagnose, we treat, we manage diseases. So we can have a extending outreach or a multitude of healthcare domains backed up with AI. So where does the medical education part come into role in this one? Because as we are going to offer this type of healthcare in the future, we have to evolve and we have to train the current generation and ourselves. We have to adapt to these modalities while teaching and learning and assessing, and then the full healthcare will have an impact of this AI. So, a wide range of definitions have been associated with artificial intelligence, but the best definition I found out is that when machines are capable of performing human tasks and typically intelligent thinking like the human beings, then the term artificial intelligence can be uh, compared with human intelligence. So, the deep thinking and the higher order thinking, when the machines start that, that is the domain of artificial intelligence. So we have apps and softwares backing up this higher order thinking. which comes to a broader term called artificial intelligence. So it's not a new term. 1900s saw the dawn of artificial intelligence. Till 1947, I don't know whether you can see it enlarged, it's the PDF version. So I would like to give a brief timeline introduction, how in 1900s it started, but 1947 saw the dawn of the term. People started to talk about AI and machine learning in 1947. Then in 1966, the first chatbot, Eliza, was released. It could generate just basic computer outputs. In 1981, there was another AI bot known as Jabberwocky, and it was made with the intention to stimulate natural human chat. So from 80s, the chatbot thing is going on and is working on. Then came an era between 66 and 81 when people stopped talking about it, and it was known as the winter time for the AI. But in 81 and towards the 2000, it came into existence again with IBM's Watson destroying the two best players which were there at that time. And it took over all these chatbots, and the Excel started in 2011. In 2018, GPT-1 was released. So many of us know about Chat GPT now. So the term which describes the Chat GPT is known as generative AI. So the generative AI are capable of generating and responding to the questions in a human-like manner, and they get this all data from whatever is stored in the web and in the cloud. So the data is compiled, stored, and processed by these type of applications and brought in front of us as if humans are talking to us. In 2018, Google started BERT, and it started computers to understand the meaning of ambiguous language and text by using surrounding text and established context. So as medical educators, we must know here that till now we couldn't put our hand as medical experts because it was all going along algorithms and mathematics and computer background. Till 2019 and 2021, Google started other initiatives, and non-coding software started to come into existence. And in 2022, DAL-E, another initiative, it went viral, which created humorous images out of the text which are generated like in search engines. And we know in 22 and 23 how ChatGPT stormed the world and how AI came into regular talk. It became the buzzword of the century. Now 2023, 24, GPT-4, Google Gemini, all these things are common terms that we're going to talk about. Till now, it's the engineering sector going on, and medical field is just using the applications. So in this slide, you will see some type of winters and springs and dawns and dusk that happened to the AI from 1950s till 2018, and there was no looking back after 2019 onwards. So there was the term coining session, which is related to John McCarthy, and he's also considered as the father of AI. And he described the use of computer technology to simulate human behavior and critical thinking. And this term, which was only used in science movies and science fiction movies, it became a reality by 1956, as I described. Now, there are three types of artificial intelligence which we must know. The first type is known as artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. In this stage, the machines just learn basic and answered basic. We are all familiar about Siri, about Alexa, about Cortana. So these are specialties that solves the problem and answers and takes us to the websites, just like simple chatbots. The second stage of AI or type of AI is the machine intelligence one. So the first one was machine learning, basic one. Second is machine intelligence, which is also known as artificial general intelligence. And what does it do? This is the application of the computers which became very smart, very human-like, and natural language processing started at that process. And this stage was known as artificial general intelligence. Now the third stage, or the superhero of all, artificial super intelligence. This is the stage, as I said, when the machine develops the consciousness. an intellect that is much smarter than the best human brains in practicality. This is known as machine consciousness level or artificial super intelligence. So we are dealing with these three types of artificial intelligence. From very basic chatbot, you're chatting on a website, you are doing your appointments on the chatbot. They are simple. But when machines get the consciousness and when they start to drive, that is artificial super intelligence. Okay, so again, the same thing when what is the approach for the machines in the ideal approach and human-like approach behind the science behind the AI? When the systems are made that think rationally, they think like human, they act like human, and they are mimicking human and higher order thinking than humans. So three terms that will come up on and off when we are dealing with artificial intelligence description. People always confuse machine learning with artificial intelligence, though they are two different two different sides of the same coin. But let's see what is happening. So if you go back to the learning of the machine stage, what is happening behind the scene, how the machine is learning, what input is being put inside. So the first domain that we will talk about is about deep learning. So this is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural network learn from vast amounts of data. So this is a feeding stage. You feed the data to the machines, and how the machines learn, they learn through algorithms, they learn through coding. This is typically an engineering part which takes place in the machine level. So this type of thinking, like we have the neural network in our brain, so at the neuronal level what is happening is the deep learning thing. Then the bigger concept of machine learning. So these are the main algorithms to improve now what the machine has learned over, and it's going to feed more data. So if you feed one research article, now the machine will extract similar 17 articles and try to build up something out of that. Now the bigger domain or the bigger area which is governing them is artificial intelligence. So at the program level, at the higher order thinking level, where the machine can sense it, reason it, act, and adapt. So this domain is what is artificial intelligence. So these three things should be clear, a basic for our artificial intelligence learning. So how machines learn, what is deep learning, and what is the higher level known as artificial intelligence. So under the artificial intelligence domain, like I said, there is the machine learning part, natural language processing and understanding part, how machines classify, translate, they can respond to question answer, they can generate text. This happens at natural language processing level. Expert systems are involved in this. So a large amount of data is being fed to the machines at this level, supervised, unsupervised, and the deep learning is going on. So the addition of vision, that means to sense, to see, and to extract data from a visual, to extract data from visual pictures or any data feed at this level, any big data at this level. AI related to the speech planning and robotics are another areas which come under artificial area domain. So speech to text to speech, you must have tried all these applications which are quite normal to use these days. So under the artificial intelligence domain, all these systems or processes that we learned are coming under this domain. Okay. Now, why do we as medical education need AI support? Like I said, we have to be faster, we have to be quicker to deal with the new generation and to develop a new type of healthcare, smart healthcare. Let's see how from teaching up to the healthcare application we can use AI. So AI will help us in faster processing of the data. It's capable of automation. It can automate. Advanced presentations can be generated, student-centered approach can be taken care with AI. It's very efficient because we know human error is avoided by using these types of analytics. Data can be connected and shared, so large amount of connectivity is possible because of AI. And especially for if we go for teaching, learning, and uh, assessing, advanced proctoring can be done by AI at that level. And my favorite theme is the analytics that we derive out of all these things. It can give us a huge amount of information about the students' learning process. So we can have the elements of pedagogical agents backed up with AI, intelligent tutoring systems backed up with AI, adapt to learning according to the student's need. The system will twist and tweak the material and exam types, which like we know one size doesn't fit all. So we can adapt the learning style with help of the AI backed up. As I said, that the smart classrooms, smart learning environment, smart management systems, and what we derive out of it is the learning analytics part. And we can use this data for description, for prediction, and to know our students better, to give them better, and to offer better. Now, as teachers, as medical educationists, so we must follow the Ghanese learning events. So we need to get students involved. We need to be clear on the expectations. We should build up previous knowledge. We should have the content ready, the support ready, the practical part ready, feedback ready, assessment ready, and general consideration and re-evaluation. And this cycle goes on. So if we focus on the advancement of technology and especially AI backed up softwares and tools, we can follow all these, because it's not like possible every time that we are perfect in all these spheres for the learning events. But with the advancement of the new AI tools, we can follow the cycle and we can produce better. So, as we said, in medical education, what we can use with the advanced AI, here I don't want to confuse with the digital technologies, which are very basic from a PowerPoint to other mode of delivery. Here we want to see what AI specially can help us in. So, in personalized learning, as I said, in adaptive learning systems, in assessment, like in automated grading and feedback, virtual tutors and assistants, the virtual bots helping in teaching and learning, language learning applications are there, data analysis and insights can be generated, education chatbots. Once again, we can have facial recognition for engagement and monitoring, especially attendance and involvement of the students. We can have automated administrative tasks which will go behind the scene, and AI for special education, for special needed specially able students. We can help AI backed up applications for their enhancement. Why we are doing this? As I said, we have to create a smart healthcare and we need smart doctors for the future. And what is the role of AI in healthcare that we are backing up with the education stage? We will help to develop and to work in the AI backed up diagnostic assistant. Personalized medicine will be there, predictive analysis, a large number of data called big data for epidemiology is available, robot assisted surgeries are there, drug discoveries and development, administrative workflow optimization, virtual health assistance, remote patient monitoring, fraud detection and security possible, and public health surveillance. So, as we are creating smart doctors, we have to provide smart education. Some of the AI applications we are aware of, backed up with AI, is already there in the field, not new, like Google search is there. And we have some systems using it, like YouTube and Amazon. Siri and Alexa are examples. Self-driving cars, AI backed up. Tesla, Waymo, they are there. And for generating creative tools, ChatGPT, AI are already there. I know 100% that we all use these tools, and decision-making tools, and so on. Now, this is something which goes in teaching and learning backed up with AI. These are AI backed up chatbots. Like Mikey, Lbot, Cleverbot. These are just higher education as well as they can be used in medical education. There are language learning supports like Duolingo, very common these days. Writing assistants, I think most of us are using Grammarly and Quillbot while checking our quality of the, I won't say paraphrasing, quality of the paragraphs we check with the writing assistants. And personalized language material resources like in higher education, Duolingo, Memrise, and Italki, they are very popular. Right. So, role of AI in teaching, they say that 4 C's should be clear: the connection and the empathy with the students whom you are teaching. You should be clear about that. You should be focusing on communicating, collaborating, and creating something new. So in teaching and learning design and using the learning technologies backed with AI, we can focus on the vision, value, leadership, and technological infrastructure help, and what culture we have in our universities, and what are the societal trends. So these things need to be clear when we are creating any uh, support education or any technological infrastructure. Okay. Now, what in education, especially, we can deliver for the smart content? If we want to make up smaller videos, micro learning videos, we can go through the applications which are available. Like I talked about the personalized learning, which is quickly possible by the adaptive mechanism in the softwares. So they can quickly personalize the learning material for the student's need and the progress of the student. Okay, so the tracking of academic progress is possible by adaptive learning tools which are AI backed up, and we have virtual facilitators which can think, act, and react to the students' queries. These are chatbots which will eventually maybe help in removing extra faculty. So these virtual facilitators can be used. And for grading and proctoring, like we have the automatic grader, the robo graders are there, and all these come with the applications. They are not easily available. We have to plug in and buy in these with the management system that we are using. So proctoring, the AI backed up proctoring is the thing these days. It can by facial recognition and by the manner in which the exam is taken, or any cheating attempt is there. So AI backed up proctoring is useful. Right. So in higher education and schools, the classroom behavior management system is really being used from past years, especially Class Dojo and Teachment. And the new component in teaching and learning, like gamified learning and gamification, and these quizzes and leaderboards which are like Kahoot is there. So these gamified learning engagements are keeping students glued and engaged. Then we have for like assessment, we said that what we will do in automatic scoring and testing and bias detection and plagiarism detection. Right. So cyber safety and security, definitely AI backed up. These are used in teaching, learning, and assessment areas. So for proctoring, especially for the plagiarism detection, exam integrity, and analysis of the student success matrix, these are uh, to be used things in the teaching, learning, and assessment. And academic research backed up with automatic literature reviews, natural language processing, and explainable AI. These things, especially, I would go for diagnostic research, teaching and learning, and assessment. These domains are going to be the things that will use artificial intelligence as the backup. So lots of things which we can do in teaching and learning, like interactive games. We said overall institutional management can be backed up with AI, so it will help in the maintenance and scheduling and budgeting, etc., in the future. Okay. So some of the AI backed up teaching technology, like virtual tutors, we talked about intelligent tutoring systems, chatbots and education, simulations and virtual realities, automatic grading system. You just name a sphere that we are doing and beyond is possible by the use of AI, especially smart content recommendation, gamification with AI. These are typically for student centered learning. Some of the common tools used in classroom, I don't know how many of these are we using, but I'm sure that some of these pictures will be where is it, yeah, this went really viral few months back. This divided all the spheres of where we use as educators the domains like video creating, marketing, designing, writing, and productivity. And then this in this sun wheel cart, you can see the common applications that are being used. Suppose I go for video making. So it will take me to the common ones like the Pictoria are there, and then other second tier of video apps which are used these days. So a lot of them, especially after 2020, a lot of these apps are available and doing well. So for AI enhanced virtual environment, some new, not that new concept, we must talk about smart classrooms. Like we can talk about classrooms without boundaries, metaverse. We can talk about the mixed reality breakout rooms. We can do the teaching and learning and simulation based task training in the session. So smart classrooms are there to take over the traditional ones. And I wanted to go back to this slide, just a moment. Yeah, to this slide. Yeah, this is one slide I wanted to show earlier. Maybe we should have an idea of these. Just looking at the logo, I think 3 or 4 all of us are using from here. Otter AI as the smart assistant. We are using ChatGPT, WordTune. So 5, 6 from this I'm also using in my day-to-day practice. I don't know about you all, how many you're using. So I wanted to keep it interactive. So somebody is asking about student-centered approach. So student-centered approach is especially about the personalized learning and adaptive learning. I will give you one example about this student-centered and personalized one in this slide after this. So why are we doing all these things is that we are giving students a chance to get involved in their teaching and learning through feedbacks, through creating a content which is approved and assessed at the same time. So just a second here. Yeah, this one. Suppose student-centered one, the AI backed up 2 things, that is personalized and adaptive learning, in which AI will help us in analyzing the learner's performance and preferences, and we tailor make the content and pacing the assessments with the individual need. So this type of student centered is not student led or student driven directly, but it will read the student's pattern of studying and pattern of performing in the exam, custom make the product for the student and then send it out to the students. Let me give you a small example. When we are talking about something and we say our phone listens, when we are searching about something on the web, so out of blue, in 10-15 minutes, we start to receive advertisements, emails related to the same. So this type of learning, social media type of example which I gave in real world. So in this student centered AI driven learning, so adaptive learning and personalized learning, by this type of performance or interaction level, how much student is interacting and how much student is achieving in the scores, how much student is learning for the thing, his interest. So small videos, small content, and the particular quizzes, particular exam, it's been fed to the student or sent to his um, learning board. So what is the learning board here? It can be a strong learning management system, or wherever you are approaching the students and tracking the students. So here tracking is important. So you have to have a strong learning management system to track the students progress and to custom make your AI backed up learning management system to target the students. Yeah, so this was gist of what is going to happen. There is so much, especially in research, healthcare, and diagnostics, that is a part of AI in healthcare. So I limited my talk only to education and how we will be achieving our goal of producing smart students and smart education for a smart healthcare.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sifan, for a very interesting talk about AI in education. And I was supposed to stop you when you are 5 minutes to the end of your talk, but because it was too interesting, I forgot to stop you. But we will give a chance for a couple of questions before we invite our next speaker. If anybody wants to ask a question about AI in education. Okay, thank you for the audience and thank you, Dr. Shifan. I would like to introduce our next speaker, also a colleague and a friend of mine, Dr. Tahra Sadiq Al-Mahdi. She's the head of the medical education unit in the School of Medicine, Al-Ahfad University for Women, and she's the coordinator of the Masters in Health Professions Education, Sudan Medical Specialization Board. She is very active in the field of health professions education, giving talks and participating in training of the new generation in the various aspects of health professions education. In this session, she's going to talk to us about one of not so new, but newly adopted a trendy approach in health professions education and in all education fields. It is the competency-based education, and she's going to tell us about this and how we can make use of that during adversity. Dr. Tahra.
Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here with you today. Assalamu alaikum. I'm just waiting for Dr. Hisham to grant me access, but to my presentation. Yeah, I would like to take this maybe opportunity to first of all greet you all, my fellow citizens, my colleagues from Sudan and from around the world. And I wish that this time, inshallah, will pass, and through solidarity, inshallah, we will prevail. And we would like our fellows from around the world to keep us in their prayers and in their thoughts. And inshallah, things will move forward. Dr. Hisham, are you working on it?
Presentation of
yes.
Dr. Shifan. Can she
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Shifan. Thank you, Dr. Shifan. If you can, please stop sharing the slides. Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Okay. Can you all see it now? My presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start the presentation first, then share.
Okay. Is it on now?
Not yet, Dr. Tahra. Try the screenshot and please choose the PDF file.
Because it's not PDF. It is PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to start the slideshow first.
Okay.
Then go back to the platform and
and start sharing.
Yes.
I think when you go to the sharing part, there is a tab called Window.
No, it doesn't appear here for me. The same thing. Is it shared now? No. Okay.
Start the slideshow.
Yeah, I started it.
Okay, now go back to the platform window.
Okay. The problem is I don't thing. I don't have this video. I hear the sharing and it doesn't come.
Dr. Tahra, if you allow me to present the presentation, and when you went to the next slide, just tell me next.
What?
When you share, click on the share. You go back to the platform, click on share.
Yeah.
Then you go to select.
Because it's not a PDF. Yeah. It should be immediately because it's here. I can. Okay. Okay.
Now we can see your slides.
You can see it now. Okay.
Dr. Tahra, I'm presenting the presentation. Just tell me next. I will go.
That very difficult like this. I think I can share it myself. Can you just grant me access just one more time?
Okay.
Okay, just one more time. I'm going to try it. Do you see it? Okay. It's going to be very difficult like this. Okay, Hisham, let me send you the presentation because that one, it's not the same one.
Sure. At the meantime, Dr. Shifan, if you are with us, there's a couple of questions. If you'd like to take them until we share.
Yes, sure,
the new
sure, Dr.
presentation.
Hisham.
So there is a question here from Professor Kaya. What are some of the cons of using AI in teaching and learning? And
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so for teaching and learning, cons are like what I observed is using AI for teaching, especially this one simulation based or reality based or metaverse based. So actually there were two slides for netiquettes and etiquettes that I don't know, it was a fast skip there. So security and safety of our details and the students data, if you're going online and we are exposing each one of us and our identity to the unknown world, we don't know where this big data is going and what is happening. To use the technology is one side, but when we feed the information and whom we are approaching, that data might be lost in between. So pros are so many of using, and cons are equally weighing in the same field. And one more thing is that the one con is that people can generate plagiarized material and present as their own. So since lots of apps are there to develop such type of product, and less applications are available to detect them, though they started to do that. But the thing is that you can create intelligent material which is not your own with the backup of AI, especially in now that is a teaching, I'm telling you. And in learning, students, they can use this for generating essays, for generating exam answers. We can stop them at one level of proctoring when it's final exam and when it's backed up. But the con is that students also can create material and set it as intelligent material without having their input therein.
Should be
Thank
shared
you.
like
Thank you very
this.
much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Dr.
Now we'll be sharing
Okay.
the presentation.
I think
Okay.
we're done with the
Yes.
presentation. Yeah.
He's going to share. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. And sorry for this mishap. I hope Hisham will be able to play it soon. It will be a little bit awkward, so bear with me, inshallah. So I'll start by saying that, as I told you, I'm really very glad to be with you here today. My name is Tahra Sadiq. I am from Sudan. I'm a medical educationist. I started as a physiologist and then turned into medical educationist. I work in Ahfad University for Women. I work also with the Sudan Medical Specialization Board. And I also teach in the online component of Maastricht University, the MHPE there. Many of you here I've already met. It's a good opportunity to see you back again. We can start, I think, by my intentions until it started. Yeah, exactly. And if you can go to the next slide, yeah, you can move to the next slide. So my intentions are to describe the history of competency-based medical education in general, because I'm not going to talk into the details. So let us keep it to the discussion, whatever people would like to discuss. To review the general principles, of course, and to discuss the promises of competency-based education for us, and to examine the controversies or the concerns about it, and also to discuss the way forward, inshallah. Next. Yeah, so if we talk about the historical background, of course, we all know that the main goal of medical education is to cultivate and bring health professionals that are able to sustain well health of the community. But we have to remember that people's actions are influenced by their beliefs and conviction. So how we do things, how we educate our students goes back to what we think learning, how it happens, and what we need. Next. So throughout history, the main drive, of course, for medical education, just like any other human thought, is liable to changes all the time. The most maybe peculiar or distinct motive for this change is people's needs. So people needs dictate how we do things and the reform that we take. Another factors for that are the health system needs, for example, new advances in the realm of people's learning, like the theory of learning. All these things push us to change and have new ways of teaching our students. Next. So as you know, the major reforms in medical education, you all, I'm sure, know about the Flexner's era, and it was in 1910, when they noticed that people are not content. And then there was, he visited all universities in North America, And based on his report, a lot of changes has happened. We can say that they're very good changes. And there was the rise of the biomedical model of medicine, and the medical colleges entered into universities. So the knowledge base was really very important. So we were turning into knowledge-based practice. After that, there is the outcome-based movement. And as I said in the beginning, people do things based on their ideas. The ideas are governed by needs. And at that time, after the World War II and the launching of the Soviet missile, there were a lot of debates that why in America, for example, why are we lagging behind? People are paying, and taxes were collected from people. So now came the new way of thinking, which is result-based thinking. And of course, all this driven by the behaviorist theories that we have to concentrate, or we have to focus on results rather than any other thing. And part of it, of course, this movement, then the competency-based movement, and the problems that happened. For example, the most famous two frameworks, which Professor Sahel is going to discuss in details, are the CAMMEDS and Tomorrow's Doctors. And they were all maybe ignited by problems in the society, that their trust in the medical profession was decaying due to various issues. And then they started to consult their community. What type of doctor do we need? And then they came up with characteristics that made what do you call the basis for the frameworks. Next. Okay, so I told you that, or we said that the major mandate for medical education is people needs. So if we are going to do that, there are certain answers that we need to fulfill or to answer. For example, the first one is, are we aware of those people needs that we want to serve? What kind of health system will meet those needs? And then what kind of doctors who are going to work in this system and satisfy the needs? And the last one is, how can we educate them? Unfortunately, and meaning well, throughout history, we've been focusing, or we've been reversing this order. So we've been working by first answering, how do we educate these people? And as here, brilliantly written, I don't know if you can see it, there is always an easy solution to every problem that is neat, plausible, and wrong. It's not wrong, but it's not the right thing. And now competency-based education and the movements like social accountability and competency-based education are trying to correct this order. Next. Okay, this is because I think this is not, you're not sharing PowerPoint, Hisham, yes?
Yes, Doctor, we saved as a PDF.
We can see the PowerPoint slide now, yes.
Yeah, you can see it, but because the picture superimposed, because they're supposed to have animations, they come one after another. No problem. The first one was depicting the medical practice during it was the Islamic medicine. So that, and then the development of practice, which students or people who are going to get into the profession usually accompany a master, and they learn from this master as apprentice until he most of the time, of course, he is confident that they took the craft. So it was practice-based education, let's say, or practice-based knowledge. Practice drives the knowledge. Next. Yeah, exactly. So the timeline for the development of competency-based education, if we see the trajectory of medical education in recent era, if we can go just to the 40s, we can see that this is the rise of the outcome-based education in general. And as I told you, it was governed by like trying to improve the efficiency, efficacy of education to have results. And then came the outcome-based education, of course, led by behaviorist theorists. And then we can see in the 60s, the outcome-based medical education. I don't know if you can see this person, Bloom, all of us know about him. And he had, it was a committee that worked. It's not only him, but poor guys, they were not recognized. So Bloom's taxonomy came out in the 60s and changed medical education into outcome-based education. And then in the 80s, the competency-based education. And we can see here the move was taken up by the frameworks that were very elaborate, very well articulated, that came out. Canadians and the UK, Tomorrow's Doctors, the USA, and many more. And the turn of the century, we find that also the European Union started to standardize medical education, and they formed a project, the Turing Project, and then their framework in beginning of the 21st century. The WHO, together with the allying organizations like the WFME, World Federation for Medical Education, they work together and they produce guidelines and action plans to adopt competency-based education in order to improve public health. And then in 2022, we can find the Saudi Med. Saudi Med, of course, they started very early. Their first maybe draft was in 2011, but now in 2022, it became like a benchmark for new curricula and also for assessment. And in 2003, the UAE, I know that in October, last October, they started like adopting it, or maybe Professor Sahal is going to tell us more about the frameworks. We see up there as an idea, and it should be like circling around the Sud Med or Sudan Med, because the idea started very early on, but unfortunately it's still under process due to the turbulences that we have for a long time. And we hope, inshallah, it will be times through this sort of activities that Sudan Med will be a reality. Next. So if we try to compare between the conventional ways versus the competency-based education, we can see some very particular issues. Next. Yeah, for example, yesterday's curriculum was mainly governed by content. What people should learn, this was the major issue concerning us, and what learners need to know. So we used to compile a lot of material in order, and very detailed, and also the students go from a stage to a stage in a very systematic manner. There is year 1, 2, 3, 4 until 6, according to your undergraduate education, or even in the postgraduate. Also, there are distinct phases and stages that all students go through. It was like uniform for everyone. The exams were norm-based. And also, it's just like the analogy which they put for it. It's a tea bag analogy, that if you put students in, for example, you put a tea bag in a hot water for 5 minutes, then it gives you the result you're waiting for. So if you put students in medical curriculum for 6 years, they are going to get out as perfect as possible. And we knew then after that this is not the case, of course, because we need to check their abilities, what they are able to do. So the concern here became or refocused on what they are able to do. Remember, during our ancient time when we were following our masters, the main issue which will make you capable of doing your to be an independent practitioner is that to be approved that you can do the thing right. So here now we came back to this advantage that we have to make sure that every student can do whatever required, the competency that is described right. So this gives us or this means that the time is no longer a factor. People can advance according to their own pace. I'm not saying that we are doing it. I'm saying that this is the ideal. The other thing is that our assessment is now standardized, and our assessment is criterion based. So there are certain criteria that students should acquire before being promoted to the next stage. Of course, here comes the individualization. Students can pick and choose according to their individual abilities and individual interest, of course. Now comes the integration of subjects, so we're not separating things into preclinical, for example, or basic, preclinical and clinical. Now there is integration, vertical and horizontal, across the curriculum that is governed by the abilities or the competencies that the student should demonstrate. Next. Yeah, next is the definition. Yeah, definition. So this is one of the definitions from the International Competency-Based Medical Education Collaborators. There are other, of course, and still, by the way, still the concept is not very well formulated. It still needs more refinement in order for us all to agree on what does it mean. So it is an outcome-based approach to design, implementation, assessment, and evaluation of medical education programs using an organizing framework of outcomes or competencies. So the competencies are the main thread that like waves or waver or holds everything together. Next. Also, Frank, who is one of the leaders in this era, he also defined it, and he contributed to the first definition, but this is more refined, an approach to preparing physicians for practice that is fundamentally oriented to graduate outcomes abilities and organized around competencies derived from analysis of societal and patient needs. It de-emphasizes time-based, as we said, training, and promises greater accountability, flexibility, and learner-centeredness. So these are the main promises. Next. So here also, Tenkati, I think, no. Yeah, he defined, Albanese defined competencies, which the competencies are formed. Each competency has knowledge, skills, and attitude part of it. This is the competence, and competencies together have become the unit of educational planning in many jurisdictions. So we start by them and we build our curriculum. So the principles of competency-based education, from what we said, we can develop them together, actually. That it has to be, or the program has to show these principles, that it is based on people needs. So people needs are the starting point, and it aligns education with the real needs of the society, and then outcome centric approach. So it emphasizes outcomes over process. We're thinking of the outcomes and focusing on them, and those are the organizing thread, as I said. And the last thing is that there is seamless continuum integration. We know that medical education is viewed or should be viewed as a continuum. It should be viewed as undergraduate, postgraduate, and continuous medical education after that, or the professional life. And in competency-based education, we have authentic story about the doctor. So he or she will develop from undergraduate level to be, for example, let's say a communicator. So they are moving across the continuum to reach the same outcome or competency that is required. And in each stage, they have specific outcomes or competencies, enabling competencies in order to reach that level. Next. So if we look into the planning steps for competency-based education, I repeat again, we start by identifying the needed abilities. From where do we get these abilities? We get them from around us, from the people needs in the community. We consult the community, as many countries did that, of course, consulted the community to recognize their needs and the type of the doctor they wish to have as their healer. We find it from the professionals that we have around us. What constituted or what led to that professional become known as a good professional? All these characteristics from the general community, and then we can build our needed abilities. And then we clearly define them into competencies and components. We define the stages that the student is going to progress in order to reach these competencies. And then we select the educational experiences based on that. We select the assessment tools, and also we design the outcome evaluation strategy. So if you can see the program development circle or HILEX is all governed by the enabling competencies or the abilities that we need. And this is the design down process as recognized or as described by Spade. Next.
I was reminded by the organizer that we have 3 minutes to finish the session. So speed up a little bit if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay. So the promises, it promises, of course, by that we are going to produce the right type of doctors, and that community health is going to be ensured because it was taken into consideration. So it's a result-based strategy. Also, there is standardization. We can compare people around the world and in the same country. Next. It's aligned with the principles of social accountability as a promise for better communities and better health of communities. It ensures the flexibility needed and, of course, cost effectiveness. If we can, people, if they don't need that much time in education, they can go further. It complies with the principles of adult learning, and also it ensures the quality and guarantees smooth transition between the stages. There are a lot of concerns, of course. We can divide them into two: concerns related to implementation or concerns related to interpretation. So the application sometimes, or the implementation, if it's not right, it's going to lead to very demotivated students because they're going to do very artificial and superficial work. And interpretation usually comes from the lack of context relevance. So if we take frameworks and just take them from one context to another without doing the adaptation, this will be poor contextualization. Can you go forward? Next. This is the same, the first concerns. These concerns are mainly about the theoretical underpinning. So people think this is fragmentation of learning, restriction of the liberal nature of science or education. And those are the main concerns that are concerns about the behaviorists in general. And that medicine is a moral quest. You cannot restrict it in specific abilities and you say that's it all. You're taking the soul out of it. Next. So there are certain concepts that are relevant and they were advanced in order to mitigate these drawbacks from like alignment. If we have good alignment, all the elements of our curriculum well aligned, and we were true to ourselves that they're all governed by the people need, then this will be an authentic task. Next. The the EPA's entrustable professional activities or practices. Also that we are teaching whole tasks and we are assessing at the end whether the candidate is able to do certain actions that are defined by the professionals. Then we can make sure that this is authentic. Next. And the milestones, of course, that students develop these tasks or develop these competencies based on certain milestones. In each milestone, they should be able to demonstrate that. We need also faculty development, of course. We need to empower the faculty and make them part of the whole movement, to have the ownership and to involve all stakeholders, particularly the students. Next. Of course, it is spreading everywhere now, just like a wildfire. And the way forward that we are actually in a world that is governed by changes and uncertainties, and we can see what's happening just in our country now. So in order to navigate our way forward, we need strong leadership, change management practices, advocacy, and we also need to ensure flexibility and contextualization. And also we need national and international collaboration. Next. So to remember that it is a transformation and that transformative change requires cultivation of a shared mental framework among stakeholders and to reach the desired transformation. And this needs, of course, patience. Next. A curriculum mirrors the values and beliefs of the local context. It is shaped by the political, cultural, historical, professional, and every other factor that is there. So globalization is good, but it poses a threat of standardization of curricula. In order to get the fruits and avoid the thorns, it is crucial that curricula be contextualized. Next. If you have any thought or comment or question.
Before I give them the chance, I need to remind them that in a minute they need to click and leave this room and join the new session. But now if they have one or two questions, it's open. You need to log out from this by clicking on the logo at the top of the screen or the arrow. You go out and then you join the next session.
So just go to next to conclude. Next
slide. Next slide.
So key thoughts are community competency-based education represent noteworthy advances in our time, and that successful alliances or success lies on consistency to purpose, constructive alignment and dedication, on authentic task and contextualization of frameworks, social accountability, synergizes, okay, Rahat. Competency-based medical education and partnerships and alliances enhance thinking and practice. And lastly, wisdom is crucial to overcome potential shortcomings. Next. These are my next. The references, the last slide. Yeah, to remember to be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible. Last one, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I leave you with ما عنده محبة ما عنده الحبة. Stay passionate. Thank you.
ما عنده محبة ما عنده الحبة. شكرا جزيلا. Thank you very much, Dr. Tahra, for this interesting journey from the history to actual practical recommendation and advices. Thank you very much. If anybody has got a burning question, please, we need to go out and join the other session straight away. Okay, thank you, and thank you again for the nice audience and for Dr. Shifan for presenting the first talk. We need to leave this room and join the other room. Thank you.
To leave it here, Prof. Can you say it again?
Huh?
How to leave?
No, you click on the schedule at the top and you go to the schedule and join.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
Schedule.
thank you. Di mana? I think this one.